I booked a Christmas brunch for the whole family. My sister messaged, "Cancel it. No one's wasting their holiday on you." Mom followed with, "Don't take it so hard." I just smiled, closed the menu, and said nothing. That night, I quietly stopped every bill and transfer under my name. By sunrise, their mortgage bounced, and panic flooded the family chat. "Cancel it." Ava's message lit up my phone before I even set the table. "Cancel what?" I typed. She replied instantly. "The brunch. No one's wasting their holiday sitting with you." I stared at the screen, reading it again, like maybe I'd misunderstood the cruelty. Then Mom's text appeared right after. "Don't take it so hard, Will. She didn't mean it like that." But she did. They both did. The table was already booked. 8 seats, candles ready, a menu I'd spent days choosing. For a second, I just sat there, my hands on the tablecloth, eyes burning but dry. The waiter came by and asked softly, "Sir, will the others be joining soon?" I looked up, smiled thinly. "No, just me tonight." He nodded, awkward, and walked away. Around me, families laughed, clinking glasses and taking pictures under twinkling lights. Mine couldn't even show up. That night, I didn't argue or call them back. I just went home, opened my laptop, and quietly stopped every payment I'd been covering. The mortgage, the utilities, the car insurance, all under my name. By sunrise, their phones were lighting up with alerts. Ava was panicking in the group chat. "Why isn't the payment going through?" Mom: "Will, did something happen to your card?" I just watched the chaos unfold. And for once, I didn't rush to fix it. I'm William Hayes, 27 years old, the quiet one. The easy son, the one who never talks back. If my family were a storm, I was the pause between thunderclaps, the silence everyone mistook for peace. I always thought if I stayed kind, patient, forgiving, they'd eventually see me. They didn't. Ava once told me, "You make yourself forgettable, Will. Maybe that's why no one sticks around." I laughed like it didn't sting, but it did. She's always known how to twist the knife without raising her voice. For years, I stayed out of fights, stayed useful, covered bills, fixed the Wi-Fi, picked them up from airports, waited hours outside clinics, helped Ava move 4 times in 2 years. Each time I told myself, next time they'll remember I showed up. But they never did. And still, I said nothing, because silence felt safer than being the villain. The family. Dad, Martin Hayes, 60, retired Army sergeant. Believes emotion is weakness, and weakness runs in me. He calls me soft, like it's a slur. Mom, Claire, sweet-faced, sharp-tongued. She can destroy you with concern, always playing referee, but never on my side. Ava, my older sister, 30, corporate perfectionist. Her laughter always aimed downward. At me. To her, I was the family joke that never grew out of childhood. That night, when they realized I'd frozen the accounts, the house erupted. Dad slammed the table so hard the glasses jumped. "You froze the mortgage? Are you out of your damn mind?" Ava yelled from the kitchen. "You think we're your enemies now?" Mom cried, "William, you can't just abandon your family." I stood by the doorway, coat still on, watching them panic, and thought, this is what I've been funding all these years. "You wouldn't even have this house if I hadn't stepped in," I said quietly. Dad turned, face red. "That's not true." Ava folded her arms. "Here we go again. St. William saving everyone." I pointed at the pile of unopened bills on the counter. "Who do you think paid those?" Mom sighed. "You didn't have to, honey." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I know. You just expected me to." Dad laughed bitterly. "You always want credit for everything." I met his eyes. "No, Dad. I just wanted honesty once in my life." Ava's voice cracked with irritation. "You're acting like we stole from you." I looked at her, calm. "Didn't you?" The room froze for half a heartbeat, because deep down, they all knew I wasn't wrong. The shouting turned ugly. Ava got personal. "You think paying a few bills makes you special. You've got no life, Will. That's why you cling to us." Dad added. Maybe if you weren't so damn quiet, people would care. That one hurt more than it should have. I just stood there, hands shaking, trying to swallow the lump in my throat. I'd spent years being quiet, because every time I tried to speak, they made me feel smaller. I kept you all fed, I said softly, and somehow I'm still the burden. Even Ava stopped talking. Mom whispered, "That's not fair." I nodded. Fair hasn't lived in this house for years. The silence after that was heavy. They all looked at me like they'd just seen someone they never really knew. And maybe, for the first time, they hadn't. 2 winters ago, Dad lost his job. He didn't tell anyone, but the foreclosure letters came to my mailbox because the house was under my account. I sold my car to cover the mortgage. When the crisis passed, he told everyone he negotiated it. At dinner, he toasted himself for saving the house. I smiled and raised my glass. No one noticed my empty driveway. When Ava's phone broke, she cried for 3 days. I bought her a new one the next morning. She posted it online. "Thanks, Dad." I liked the post. No one corrected her. And last Christmas, when I was in the ER for dehydration and stress, Mom texted, "We're at the cabin. Hope you're okay." I was hooked up to an IV, staring at that message, realizing, if I disappeared that night, none of them would have noticed until the bills stopped paying themselves. That night, during the argument, Ava slipped. She said, "Dad only gave you that account because it was Mom's money, not yours." The words dropped like glass shattering. I turned to Dad. "Mom's money?" He froze. Mom looked panicked. "Ava, stop!" Dad muttered, "It's not what it sounds like." I stepped closer. "Then explain." He sighed, voice low. "It was your trust fund, the one your grandfather left you. We used it when the market crashed." My stomach dropped. "You used it? All of it?" Mom whispered, "We were desperate, honey. You wouldn't have understood." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I'd been paying for the house my own inheritance bought. "You didn't just use it," I said quietly. "You built your comfort on my future." No one said a word after that, and for the first time, the silence belonged to me. Ava cried. Dad poured another drink. Mom tried to touch my arm. "Will, please, don't do this," she said. I stepped back. "I gave you all my silence," I told them. "Tonight, I'm done pretending it's loyalty." Ava shouted, "You can't do this to family." I met her eyes. "You already did." The walls felt tighter, like the house itself was suffocating from all the lies. Dad muttered, "You're ungrateful." I smiled faintly. "Maybe, but I'm free." For years I'd been the quiet one. Now, my calmness scared them more than my words ever could. I left without slamming the door. No dramatic goodbye. No speech. Just the sound of my keys hitting the table as I walked out. Mom called the next morning, crying. "We didn't mean to hurt you." I said gently, "You didn't mean to get caught." Then I hung up. I moved into a small apartment. 1 bedroom, thin walls, quiet nights, no shouting, no guilt, just peace. I learned how to cook for one, how to wake up without dread, how to exist without permission. And every morning I remind myself, they didn't break me. They just taught me how strong silence can be. Months later, I drove past their house. It looked smaller, colder. The Christmas lights were off this year. Ava didn't wave when she saw me. She looked away. Mom pretended to check her phone. I didn't stop, but part of me wanted to. Not to fix anything, just to see if they'd changed. They hadn't, and that's okay, because I have. I don't carry their weight anymore. No anger, no revenge left in me. Just space, clean, quiet space where love might grow again someday, somewhere else. For the first time in my life, I don't owe anyone an explanation for existing. And maybe that's what healing really means. Not forgetting, but no longer bleeding when you remember. If you were in my place, would you forgive them or walk away forever? Because sometimes family doesn't break you by shouting. They break you by never showing up. and choosing peace. That's the loudest revenge of all. Tell me in the comments, would you go back or stay gone for good? Like if you've ever carried people who left you empty. Subscribe for more stories that remind you your silence isn't weakness, it's survival.